Hello.
Oh, bear with me, you all, bear with me. I'm still young. So this is about forgiveness, and I really felt led in prayer to do this. I'm not even sure I'm going to get through what I planned, but that's okay as long as it helps someone. And it may not make sense at first, but it will tie into what we discuss. This is about forgiveness. I want to start with Adam and Eve. So everyone knows that Eve ate the apple and then she offered it to Adam. But what I find interesting is, why did Adam eat the apple? Everyone thinks that he was deceived, that Eve tricked her, but I really think there's something deeper to it. First, starting with Eve, why did she even eat the apple in the first place? The serpent said to her that if you eat of it, you would surely die. But we don't know all of the doubts and insecurities that were running through Eve's mind. Because you see, Eve was actually the last to be created. The animals were created, Adam was created, and then it was her. So she was probably thinking in her mind that everyone else had come before her and that there would be no use for her, that they would be fine without her. However, the serpent was very clever in how he insulted her. He said, "Did God really say that? If you eat this apple, you will be like God." Immediately saying that she wasn't like God. And Adam being silent was just confirming all of those doubts in her mind. So when she ate the apple, I don't think that she was fooled by the serpent, that she wouldn't die, but she thought that if she died, nobody would notice anyway. Because she is a rib, but Adam has many other ribs. So God could simply take another rib and make another woman. But what she wouldn't know is that there would always be a hole where Eve should have been. And so I think that Adam ate the apple, not because he was tricked, but if he hadn't eaten the apple, that means that Eve would have had to leave the garden alone, and that she would be in the wilderness scared. So I feel that it was a great sign of love that he was willing to leave a place that was literally perfect, just so that Eve wouldn't have to be by herself. And what I also find is interesting is that before they were kicked out, before they were punished, she was only referred to as the woman here. It was Adam and the woman. But what's interesting about how much he had loved her is how he named her afterwards. He named her Eve, which is the mother of all living. He could have named her anything else, mother who brought the curse, mother of death, but he brought her mother of all living, which shows that he still saw her for who she was and not the mistake that she made. And it is the same when God came down in human form, that he left his heavenly place, his place of peace and perfection, to a place where everyone is suffering, killing each other, dying, just so that we wouldn't be alone. Because that's how much he loved us, and because he loved us so much, he had already forgiven us. So, one thing, I actually experienced true forgiveness for the first time yesterday. Yeah, I've actually been a Christian for 3 years now. I've been alive for 19. I got saved in my junior year of high school, and I experienced God's forgiveness for the first time, which changed my life. But what really changed my life was yesterday when I experienced God's forgiveness through people for the first time. Because the thing about Adam is that he was already in the garden, he had God already. But God looked at him and said, "It is not good for man to be alone." Meaning that, yes, he knew God, but he knew that to experience God through another human being would be different. It would change his life, how he operated. And me, I had been sorry when I'd done things. The other person would say they forgave me, and we would be good, but they would treat me differently afterwards. Should we get into an argument and they needed ammunition? You already know what they used. But yesterday, when I was just out of hurt, there was 2 people who will be graduating. I'm so proud of them. But deep down, I was hurt because they would be leaving and I would miss them. So it caused me to lash out. And when I experienced that forgiveness for the first time, it was really different. It was instant, actually. And it changed how it changed my heart. And it's gonna change how I operate from now on. So that's in that same way, if we were to go to God, it would change how we operate for the rest of our lives. Because I didn't even realize how much hurt and how much rejection I had been carrying. And that it also made it easier for me to apologize in the future, because I struggle with apologizing, mostly because I hadn't experienced many relationships where I felt safe enough to apologize, because I was expecting rejection. So to experience God's love through a person, it's going to change how I operate with people for the rest of my life. And I was thinking that I'm saved, I've experienced forgiveness, but it's different. So in that same way, I also encourage us to forgive other people who hurt us. That's why Jesus says to pray for those who persecute us, because your forgiveness could change somebody's life. It could change how that person operates for the rest of their life. Anyways, I'm gonna tell you about some of why I was hurt. So I already told you they were leaving, but we talk about how Judas betrayed Jesus, but Peter betrayed Jesus too. He denied him 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like we need to look a little deeper. If you look into the stories, some theologians, they theorize that the disciples were actually teenagers, which when you keep that in mind and reread the Bible, it totally changes how you experience them and the decisions they made. So Peter, when Jesus took the disciples, he didn't just become a teacher to them, but a father. He wasn't just a father, but he was their dad. So Peter, when Jesus told him, I'm going to go and die on the cross, and he said, you'll do no such thing, it wasn't him denying Jesus. It was more saying, no, I don't want you to leave me. Don't take my dad away. They had been together for years at this point. And then the thing is, when someone hurts you, it's always out of a place of hurt and brokenness. Because won't you cut your hand on broken glass, you know? So when Jesus was being taken away by the soldiers, Peter, out of hurt and brokenness, cut the soldier's ear. So deep down, he just didn't want Jesus to leave him. And then when people questioned him, saying, weren't you with Jesus? He denied him, but really he was trying to deny that it was even happening. Weren't you with Jesus? The past tense, saying, is Jesus not here with you anymore? So he was saying, no, he's not gone, No, I don't want him to leave. No, he's still here. No, he's not gonna die. Because imagine how distraught he felt thinking that his dad was going to be arrested and tortured and then die. It's horrible. But Jesus knew that it was coming out of brokenness and that it was just a result of how much he loved him, which is why it was so easy for Jesus to forgive him when Peter came back. And when Peter received that forgiveness from Jesus, it changed how he operated. It changed his life. So some of us are afraid to go to God because we think that God will be mad at us. But receiving that true forgiveness, it will really change your life and it will heal you. It will heal areas that you didn't even know that were broken. And I hope everyone gets to experience this kind of love and forgiveness. And I hope that you find the strength to forgive those who hurt you as well, because it would also change their life. And I just hope that everyone gets to experience this kind of love, because I received it and it changed the way that I'm going to walk with people for the rest of my